And even as that bilateral trade, the direction being taken but the deal yet to be sealed, there's a massive boost for India's artificial intelligence push. Amazon has committed to make an additional investment of $35 billion over the next 5 years. Now, Amazon's new commitment is over and above the already committed $40 billion of investment in India. Amazon is looking at boosting local cloud and AI infrastructure in India and potentially creating 1 million jobs until 2030. Remember, Amazon's announcement comes just a few hours after Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella announced a $17.5 billion commitment to build AI infrastructure and skills needed to accelerate AI development in India, the company's largest ever investment in Asia. Now, this comes just months after his January visit, where Satya Nadella had announced a $3 billion investment focused on cloud capacity, AI skilling, and making India an AI-first nation. Now, remember, in October, Google had committed building a 1 gigawatt data center in Andhra Pradesh's Vizag for a commitment of $15 billion. All this at a time when Apple is already doubling down on India manufacturing, hoping to up its production and its output of iPhones by 2027. In the last 48 hours alone, India has received big tech investment commitments of over $67.5 billion. No doubt, AI is the flavor of the season, and India is the destination of choice for leaders across the AI spectrum. The excitement is not limited to the Magnificent Seven alone. Even Cognizant and Intel are in the fray. Prime Minister Modi had met with Intel CEO Lip Bhutan, a key player for India's semiconductor ambitions. Well, what is the big tech's big focus on India all about? Joining us this morning to discuss that is Dr. Srinath Sridharan, policy researcher and corporate advisor. Good morning, Srinath. Pleasure having you back here with us on News 9. First up, AI definitely seems to be the flavor of the season, but why the big push towards India? What has India done right to attract such investments?
Morning, Karthik. I think we have a large young demographics, and we are also in consumption economy. So from that sense of the world, it really, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little dampener here. It doesn't create what I call intellectual property for India. We are going to continue what I've traditionally called as cyber coolies. We had a wave of ITES in the 1990s. If you remember the Y2K problem fix, then came the wave of BPOs, KPOs, and GCCs. So in the larger hierarchy of knowledge ecosystem, we are still way down in the pecking order, so to speak. It is still the dollar arbitrage, the labor arbitrage that we'll continue doing. Unless we own intellectual property for all of these AI, we still will not have digital sovereignty in the decades or years ahead. So to me, the challenge is, while it is very exciting and rightfully so, we must encourage more tech companies to set up base here. How do we even regulate them? These are all big tech. We can't even take them to court. If you remember that entire case about the media organizations have taken OpenAI to court for infringement last year, it has still not been solved. So structurally, from policy perspective, our laws are yet to evolve around AI. We don't have the supervisory capacity and the muzzle to rein in big tech. But yes, it's great narrative for saying that India has attracted X number of billions. As you were excited about the big seven. The reality is our education system and the STEM ecosystem also is yet to evolve.
Right.
So my bigger worry is, unless we can become a product nation ourselves, these are all only mere mechanics of it.
All right, mere mechanics, definitely big headlines, Srinath, but one can't deny the fact that $67.5 billion in foreign direct investment committed by the top three players in the Magnificent Seven pack in the last one quarter are likely to A, add to the economic growth of the country, and B, also create jobs. So can that be taken away?
So simply put, Karthik, 143 billion, 141.43 billion people, and we're going to create about 2 million jobs. With all these announcements put together, if you add it up, it doesn't even come to 2 million jobs. And let's be very practical. A lot of these MOUs are MOUs until they actually pan out to actual jobs. For example, today, I'm not being condescending or disrespectful, but unless you create higher value employment, there is no point in becoming extension of what we are currently doing. The reality is, AI is still evolving. We don't know the future of work, and we don't know work of the future. So are we taking the big tech's word that it is going to create jobs as at face value? And I think that's a policy challenge that I have. Where is our own thinking, our own ecosystem thinking? Because if you look at the other side, you had Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and including AI researchers, various esteemed professors talking about the massive disruption at scale for jobs that's going to happen. And we're not factoring that in policy. So to me, my bigger worry is while these are also very exciting, they're no different from saying in the F1 parlance, we'll call it the pit stop, right? I mean, you can come and change your tire and get out. Yes, you need to get the pit stop right. But where are we going to create jobs? So I'm a little concerned. Politically, I think it's a great optics. It will do good for both the politicians and the bureaucrats. But what about our ecosystem? Are our schools and colleges ready to build on this? Are Indian corporates?
But Srinath, sorry to cut you short, but is that the responsibility of the big tech or is that the responsibility of the government? While I understand that there is a business opportunity for the big tech to look at investments in India because obviously they get the cost arbitrage, but creating the education framework and creating skills for high-end jobs is not something that we can potentially hold the big tech accountable for.
Oh, absolutely, Karthik. You said that. I mean, it is a job of the Indian government and it is a job of the Indian corporates. Just last year, we must remember, this current calendar year, we must remember, a large tech company, one of our darlings in the stock market, spent nearly 18,000 crores in doing share buyback and not investing in R&D. And these are the people, the doyens of governance who keep speaking about how we must innovate. So how do you then compete with the big tech? So to me, the worry is from the larger scale, are we going to surrender to the mights of the big tech in the name of short-term jobs? And looks like I think we've already done that.
All right. So, of course, the big question on jobs continues to loom large on India, Srinath. But at the end of the day, India happens to be walking at least on that road towards data sovereignty. You said we are potentially decades away from data sovereignty. But the fact that these data centers and this cloud infrastructure is going to be housed here in India, does that not give India the clear pathway towards data sovereignty?
So I think there are two aspects, right? One is the chipsets and the physical infrastructure that will be housed in India. The fact is, as the codes, we don't even have control over those codes that will control that entire data. And that is where I mean by where is our own intellectual property around data management? We really haven't built it up. And if at all we build it up, unless the world is ready to pay for it, it is of no value at all. What I call as mercantile thinking. So in the digital sovereignty, unless you have digital mercantilism, why is it that Microsoft has been successful over the last 40 years, 50 years? Why is it that we're able to kind of adopt everything that what Meta or Alphabet does? And where is that Indian company's first product? We don't have any. And so while you might still be housed here, how do you even haul them up and hold them accountable? And the reality is, and that's why I said our supervisory capability is still unproven and untested in the digital world. And if we think that just because they come in and invest, for them, look at their balance sheet. It's probably the 6th decimal point, and they're also going to de-risk their investments. It's not as if they're putting everything in India.
Absolutely.
So the challenge is, do we own what is made in India? No. Do we own what is created in India? No. Unless we can bring some kind of laws that will make it happen for some of those MOUs, it will be very meaningless in the digital era.
All right. It might be meaningless in the digital era, but Srinath can't deny that there is FDI coming into India. FDI at a time when Donald Trump is harping upon making America great again. Here we have an example of American companies investing in India. Of course, there is a business case for them. So is it business first or is it India's AI first approach? That's a big question that is yet to be unanswered. But thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.